Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Mike Francesa podcast, part of the Bet Rivers Network. And we join you the day after as the city just wipes the joyful sleep from their eyes, what little bit they did sleep last night, after the Knicks' record breaking, historic come from behind victory over San Antonio, which now gives them a 3-1 lead in the NBA Finals, just when it looked like this thing was destined for 2-2, and the Knicks were maybe going to break a few hearts, to say the least, in the metropolitan area. Uh, the comeback started. Now, when you look at an anatomy of a comeback of this epic proportion, this is very much akin to what the Pats did in their comeback against Atlanta. There has to be real serious driver error by the team with the big lead, as the Falcons did on so many occasions in that historic loss to the Patriots and in this game. And there's some things that, I mean, we mentioned them all last night, but a couple after getting a chance to listen to the interviews, listen to the players, hear from the players, and watch it all unfold a couple of times, you have not a different perspective, but you can add some things. You can add some trimming to what you saw last night. Obviously, the Spurs played an incredible first half. They couldn't miss. They were unconscious from three. The Knicks defense was poor. Uh, the defense for the Spurs was good, and they put up 76 points. When you realize they put up 41, 35, and then only 30 points in the second half, you realize how much this just ground to a halt for the Spurs. See, when you have a game like this, there is the how did the Knicks do it? And you look at every single moment. And the Knicks didn't just have like a surge where they made 8 straight threes or they, turned the ball over 8 straight times. They turned San Antonio over 8 straight times. What the Knicks had plenty of opportunities where they squandered them. And they needed a tremendous mistake from Fox, which I alluded to very strongly last night because that stuck with me dramatically. And Fox was a central figure, as was Wemby, in the final minutes of this game. I go back, as I mentioned last night, I really believe the flagrant foul on Wemby, which was not intentional, which was him trying to do a swim move to get his arm free against Towns, and he hit him with an elbow legitimately, and it was a flagrant. I'm not saying it wasn't. It was. Now, that put him one flagrant from being suspended, but I really think it ground the Spurs mentally to a halt. I think it put an air of caution in Wemby, and I think it put an era. So everything that was going so right, now there was a caution. And this was early in the third quarter. As a matter of fact, there was 9:20 left, 9:40 left in the third quarter. The Spurs are up the highest amount of the night, 29 points. They have now played 2.5 minutes of the third quarter, and it's gone from 27 to 29, 81 to 52. That's when the flagrant foul occurred against Towns. No one thought that much of it. It's something you're thinking about for the future, but it really did seem that they changed, and I can prove it because in the next 5 minutes, the Knicks ran off 13 straight points to get themselves back in the game. At the 9:40 mark, when he commits the flagrant foul against Towns, they are up 29 points, 81-52. With 4 minutes left in the third quarter. 5 minutes gone on the clock. It is 81-65. The Knicks had a 13-0 run. So now 81-65. Okay. 81-65, 16-point lead, but it had been 29. They ran off a 13-0 run, and then later in the game, they would have a 20-4 run, which would propel them to the lead. But that 13-0 run there, after the flagrant foul, was an incredibly big part of the game. I went back and said, did the Spurs get tired or did they get tight? And I think the answer is both. Now, this is in retrospect, but it really begs an answer. Why would Wemby play 43 minutes last night? He played more minutes last night than he played in any of the 4 games. The other games were close in comparison. He had multiple opportunities to rest Wemby in this game. He had an enormous lead at the end of the first quarter. He had a huge lead going to the half. He still had a big lead in the third quarter. And instead, Wemby played more minutes and admitted that he got tired, which may have been why he missed 2 free throws. I don't think he choked his free throws. He's a very confident free throw shooter, but he did miss 2 enormous free throws. As a matter of fact, those 2 free throws that Wemby missed were with 147 left on the clock and with a 1-point lead. Brunson had hit a 3. It was 104-103 Spurs, and Wemby got fouled and missed 2 free throws. And Wemby said he got tired late. Well, why did he play 43 minutes? Why wasn't their bench more conscious that, hey, we're pushing Wemby too hard in a game where we have a huge lead? We know how many threes they took. They were 3 for 17 from 3. They shot 21% in the second half after shooting 65% in the first half. They were 3 for 17. The fool's gold part of threes, as Pat Riley used to call it. You're hot in the first half. Doesn't mean you're going to be hot in the second half. And they should have used the clock far better, run their sets far smarter, and given Wemby more rest. That's in retrospect, but it's telling. Now, there were some really key things that happened. One of the biggest moves that Brown made was putting Alvarado in the game. It gave Brunson a break. It allowed them to be quicker on the floor, and it gave them a better chance to be good in spacing. But Alvarado didn't just do that. He paid dividends. He had 8 points that were an incredibly important. You could call it 8 to answer. Wemby hits a bucket to put them up 95-75. 95-75. Remember, it's 90-70 at the end of the third quarter. 90-70. 90-75 at the end of the third quarter. They're up 3 points. They're up 15 points. They come out and they get the first 5 points of the fourth quarter, and they're up 95-75. It can't go much past 20. That's when Alvarado hits a 3 off a Wemby basket. All 3 of Alvarado's baskets came off makes. He answered, made baskets, which is something, if you're trying to cut into a big lead, you have to do at critical junctures. You have to answer scores with scores. Because if you don't, and you give them a chance to score twice in a row, well, then they've built the lead back up. Alvarado hits the 3. Fox makes a huge 3 at 102-95. So he takes it from 99.95 to 102.95, up 7, and Alvarado makes the layup. He gets in the paint. He looks to see where Wemby is. He doesn't see him. He goes to the basket. He banks it in. He lays it in. Now it's 102.97. Again, his second basket off a make. And then Wemby makes a basket to put them up 104.97, a big basket. And he hits an enormous three that makes it 104-100. 3 incredibly big Alvarado baskets, 8 points that answered scores, and without which this comeback never happens. Absolutely never happens. Now, Fox, unfortunately, will become the eternal GOAT in this game for what he did at the end of the game. And again, I don't in any way understand him. Now, what are his options there? Let's go through it. He runs down the ball. The clock's running. Shot clock's off. They're up 1. He's got the ball. He's a veteran player with the ball and a lot of foot speed. And instead of dribbling that ball back out, and with his speed, and if he takes that back out and around, I think there probably won't be more than 4 seconds left when the Knicks foul him. And he'll go to the line to put them up 3 with just seconds remaining. And then the options are open enormously. And the Spurs probably win the game. Now, he has 3 things he can do there. He can go to the basket and try and score, which he does, and it gets blocked by who else? OG, which gives the Knicks a possession that they didn't have to have. Now, he could call timeout, which I don't love there because I don't love having to inbound the ball side out of bounds in that situation. It's very hard to inbound the ball in those situations. Or you dribble it back out, use his exquisite foot speed, and see if you can dribble the clock out, which I don't think you're going to get to 0, but you're going to get a good way down and make it a free throw shooting contest. Instead, he puts the ball up and a shot is blocked. And now the Knicks have a chance. That gaffe by Fox will be remembered forever. They didn't lose this game on just one play. You don't blow a 29-point lead in the second half on just one play. But that one play could have saved their bacon. One play can be the difference between winning and losing. Hey, OG misses the tip. It's 2-2. Sometimes winning and losing comes down to just that. Fox makes the smart move there. The series is going to be 2-2. Now, I looked at the game at 104-100 off the Alvarado make. 2:43 left. Fox misses a 3-point attempt. 147, they get the ball back, and Wemby gets fouled. They're up 104-103 again. Wemby goes to the line, and Wemby's a terrific foul shooter, but now he's tired by his own admission, and he misses 2 free throws. Critical. 102, now they're behind. It's 105-104. The Knicks have finally broken through. They are in front. 102, Castle turns the ball over. But the Knicks don't do anything on their end of the floor. So they get the ball back, down 1 with 32 seconds left, and Fox misses a 19-foot jump shot. But Hart, who was vindicated by the OG heroics by his own admission, not just because he should have dunked the errant pass that he had in the open floor, but because he did not box out Castle on this play, usually a terrific defensive rebounder who protects his glass brilliantly. He did not block out. Castle gets the offensive rebound, gets fouled, and of course, Castle, who is just emerging as an incredibly talented player at a very young age, makes his 2 free throws. He made every free throw in the game and every big free throw, and he made these 2 free throws with 30 seconds left. Now, the Knicks come down. Brunson misses the shot. Fox gets the rebound, takes it towards the basket. The clock is running, 10 seconds. Fox, instead of dribbling it through, keeping the ball and making the Knicks foul him or trying to run out the clock, Fox goes up for the layup. It's blocked, which gives the Knicks the opportunity where, of course, Brunson takes the long three. It's short. It bounds high off the rim. And OG, like he came from the upper deck above everybody else and said after the game that he could not get it to dunk it. So he decided it was too high. So he just guided it and tipped it. And he tipped it into the history books for the greatest comeback in NBA Finals history. And I would say, without question, the greatest single play in Knick history. So the Knicks find themselves now up 3-1. The Spurs have to go home. This young team, which has had 10-point leads in all 4 games, which can look at all these games, and clearly you've heard them say that, so that's been pounded into their head. You have controlled all 4 of these games. You've decided who's won and lost. You've given them victories when you could have won games in the final minutes. You had an opportunity to win every one of these games. You had leads in all these games, which they did. They've started very quickly. They've had big leads. The Knicks have been bad in the first quarter. Listen, they were great in the first quarter, I told you, against the Thunder, and they've been even better against the Knicks. Wemby, 43 minutes was too much. It came back to haunt them down the stretch. In the fourth quarter, Wemby was 2 for 6 from the floor and 1 for 4 from the foul line. They scored 30 points in the second half. They had 41 points in the first quarter, an astronomical amount in a playoff game. They had 35 points in the second quarter, an astronomical amount in a playoff game. 76 points in the first half, 14 threes, 14 of 26. 65% they shoot from the floor, 14 of 26 from 3, record-breaking. They shoot 3 for 17 from 3 in the second half. Take ill-chosen 3 after ill-chosen 3. Do not take time off the clock. Play Wemby too many minutes. They get tired and they get tight. Now, where are we? The Knicks have not played a complete game yet. The Spurs team has obviously a lot of physical talent. They haven't learned how to close these games yet, and that's going to be their theme if they wind up, as we expect, losing the series. I'm not exactly sure what kind of team the Knicks will get in Game 5. I'm not totally confident that the Spurs are just going to come out and blitz them and blow them out of the building. I don't buy that. I don't know the impact that this one. They lost a crushing game with a big mistake from Wemby in Game 2. He vindicated himself with that, with the Game 3 performance. Now Fox has got to live with a gaffe of even bigger proportions. even bigger proportions. How do they respond? The Knicks will be the Knicks. They're never gonna give up on a game. They're gonna do what they do, and what they can count on is Brunson's gonna score points, and he's gonna take a bundle of shots. He's taken 106 shots in 4 games. Wemby, as an example, who has scored 23-8, has taken 50. He's taken 106. Now, after 2 games, Towns was the MVP. If the Knicks win this series, and I don't care if Brunson gets 50 and the Knicks win game 5, OG is the MVP. Not just because of the tip, but because of the level of play in this series. His defense has been extraordinary. He has been ultra consistent. He has scored between 17 and 33 points. He has scored 17, 17, 28, and 33. He's averaging 23.8 points per game. He has shot 58% from the floor. He has shot 56% from 3. He has shot 92% from the foul line. He has been nothing short of brilliant. He has been consistent. He has been brilliant. And this series, with one more win, will be his coming out party, as he will become a very big star, and deservedly so. He's been whispered about as being underrated, obviously. There's nothing to discuss anymore. This series has been without his these playoffs, and his series has been, even though he's had a battle and injury, they have been his coming out party. He has been utterly sensational. Consistent, economical, efficient, dominant. He can defend anybody, including Wemby. He can take the ball to the basket against anybody. He can get offensive rebounds. He can play great defense. There's nothing he can't do. And he has made so many big threes and so many big shots. And the ironic thing is, if he doesn't make that tip last night and the Spurs bat that ball to the front court and the clock runs out and they win it, and it's 2-2. It just shows you how that one play can change things so dramatically. But the ironic thing in that would have been that the Knicks would have, instead of talking about, well, we had to come back and it was too much to come back. We just couldn't, we bit off more than we could chew, and we were down 29 and it was just too much to overcome. No, it would have been, we blew it. Hart blew it. Our offense blew it. We turned the ball over. We had a shot clock violation. We threw the ball away. We missed shots. We weren't efficient. We caught them. We had multiple opportunities to take command. And they didn't. And Brunson misses and listen, making the last shot is hit or miss. The tip is for the ages. It's a comeback for the ages. From Fox's standpoint, it's a mistake for the ages. It's a collapse for the ages. And obviously, for the Knicks, it gets them one step closer to a championship, which has been something they have gone after for 53 years. Long, long time coming. All right. Let's get to some emails on the game. Let's see what you're up to. You can email me at mikefrancesapodcast@gmail.com. Matthew, can the officiating really be this bad? I've rarely seen a crew miss so many calls and non-calls in a game of this magnitude. I try not to make it about officiating. I really do. The the officials have had some bad moments, no question. Um, these stoppages for all these looks at challenges and, you know, and flagrant fouls and everything else, I hate them. There's nothing you can do about it, but it really takes away from the flow of the game, there's no question. And some of those reversals on challenges have been some of the biggest plays in the whole games. So the guys who are making those decisions on the bench are critical. They really are because, I mean, they can turn games around. OG got the 3 free throws instead of the Knicks having turned the ball over. It was critical in their comeback in game 2. Absolutely critical. What went on last night? The challenges are incredibly telling. But last night, I mean, the Knicks, I know in game 3, everyone Knicks fans all whined about the free throws. Now, last night, in the first half, they shot a ton more free throws. Well, how were the Spurs going to shoot free throws because they didn't miss, so they weren't gonna have that many free throw opportunities, which they didn't. For the game, the Knicks shoot 20 of 28. The Spurs shoot 17 of 20. The 3 misses were Wemby's, all in the fourth quarter. Very big, very, very big, as you hear, Taylor. Very, very big misses. So I don't like to make it about the officiating. I really don't. Because you know what? You can always do that. And I just try to leave it alone. And they're going to make mistakes both ways. Rob, why is Brunson slowing the game down every time he brings the ball up? The Knicks usually play with much more pace. Well, not always. See, they fall into these traps with Brunson. Now, last night, I think there was going to be a conscious effort to play like they played when they were doing so well in the playoffs and play a lot more through Towns, but Towns wound up in crazy foul trouble, and it really impacted them dramatically. So now, once you get the big deficit, you know Brunson is going to be incredibly aggressive offensively. That goes without saying because that's what they do. I mean, he thinks he has to bring them back, and he does, and he wound up scoring a bunch of points. Now, he took a lot of shots, but he also made some big plays like he always does in the fourth quarter, but he's turned the ball over way too many times in this series. He also has made some bad calls in where he's taken the ball in the last 10 seconds. A lot of times they've wasted the first half of the shot clock, and then they find themselves in trouble in the final seconds of the shot clock. They are better when they move it, ball movement, player movement. Plus, their defense has got to be crisper. They have allowed the guards, they have allowed Harper, and they have allowed, well, especially Harper, okay, but also Castle. They have allowed them to go right to the front of the rim with abandon. Donald, does Leon Rose deserve more credit for the OG trade? Yes. Listen, I've said this to you before. The one guy, when this is all over, that I would like to sit down with is Leon Rose. He's the hero of this whole thing. Now, I'm not taking anything away from the players. You never can because you can't win without the players. But the moves he made take them one after another, including the Towns move, which I did not really want. He has made brilliant, nothing short of brilliant move after brilliant move, which is how you build a championship team. Johnny, is it fair to say the Knicks have played their worst basketball of the playoffs and the finals and still lead 3-1? I wouldn't say that they've played their worst basketball, but they have not played consistent basketball. They have played relentless basketball. I mean, when they've gotten some good performances. I thought Towns' first 2 games were tremendous. OG's series has been, I mean, look at OG's series. I just gave it to you. He's averaging 23-8. He's 92% from the line, 56% from 3, 58% from the floor. I mean, come on. Bridges, until the last 2 games, had played sensationally well. Last 2 games, he's been kind of a non-factor. The bench had been doing well. It kind of sputtered, but then Alvarado came up with 8 big points. Three big answers for 8 points, and that was critical. Absolutely critical. They don't win. They don't win without those moves. So it's not like I'd say this about the Knicks. They haven't played terribly. They've played erratically. Plus, I can't explain the slow starts. They've gotten destroyed in the first quarter every night. Tony, can Mike Brown do anything to limit Jalen Brunson's shot volume? No, you don't want to do that. The shot volume is what it is. He is going to take a lot of shots. He is a volume shooter. He's got the green light at all times. He doesn't have too many shots he doesn't like. Has he taken an extreme amount of shots in the series? Yes. Has he been inefficient in the series? Considering his misses and his turnovers, he has been extremely inefficient. But he's also been clutch. So you can be both. He has made some big baskets in the fourth quarter. That is his gift, is that he makes clutch baskets in the fourth quarter. He does that as well as anybody anywhere. You don't want to in any way limit anything he does. He's the leader. He has carte blanche. He is going to do what he feels he needs to do. If he's going to set somebody else up, he's going to set him up. If he's going to take the shot, he's going to take the shot. And you're going to live with the results. Has he taken too many shots? Yes. Has he shot a bad percentage? Yes. Has he turned the ball over too many times? Yes. Have they done a very good job against him? Yes, they have. He has scored points, but it's taken him a lot of shots. I mean, think about it. He's taken more than twice as many shots as OG. OG's taken 50. He's taken 106 in 4 games. Mark, where does the OG play rank among the greatest moments in New York sports history? Now, to categorize this already, I think you have to put it in a context where it is going to grow bigger should the Knicks win the series. If the Knicks take it from here, as they undoubtedly should, and win this series, whether it's 5, 6, or shall we say 7, although you don't want to play around with 7, but it grows enormously. It will be remembered as one of the great singular moments. Now, it didn't produce a championship at the moment. So, Bobby Thompson, that swing won a pennant. The action won a pennant. When you have a walk-off home run, it's instantaneous. He won a game with the tip. The tip will be remembered forever. And should they win a championship, it will go down without question as one of the biggest plays in New York sports history. I don't think there's any doubt about it. I mean, I really don't think there's any doubt about it. But I think it grows based on the championship. Joseph, the bench has struggled in the series. Yes. Shamet has cooled off. They've been erratic. The last couple of games, they've gotten nothing out of the guys that they expect to get something out of, but do not in any way discount the bigs coming off the bench and giving them cameos, but doing a decent job for a couple of minutes when they had to, and Alvarado's 8 points, which were, I think, enormous, but they have struggled. Um, has the question is, has Brown's better rotation management been the difference in this playoff run? There've been a lot of differences in this playoff run, but the confidence in the bench and the utilization of the bench is one of the big ones. Towns' play has been enormous. Bridges' return to the fold has been enormous. The utilization of the bench and the confidence in the bench has been, without question, a forward factor. Bob, I know Towns dealt with foul trouble, but was Mike Brown too cautious with his minutes in the finals? Don't you have to lean on your best players? Maybe a little bit. I thought he could have inserted him back, but Towns is the one thing about Towns is when he has foul trouble, he's prone to go in there and get a quick one again. He is very undisciplined in that regard. So you have to be very careful with him. And you'd like to get to a point where you can put him on the floor and not worry about him for 10 minutes and utilize what he gives you. Now, the amazing thing about last night's game was in Towns is obviously in big foul trouble. He played 25 minutes. He took 5 shots, but he had 13 points and 10 rebounds. And he was the highest plus minus on the Knicks last night. He was plus 17 for the minutes he was on the floor. Plus 17. That is very telling. Very telling. Now, sometimes that can just be coincidental. You can be on the floor when the other team is just unconscious for a 5-minute span. It can happen. One guy's on the floor, one guy's not. But 17 when you're in foul trouble like that makes a big difference. But Brown wants to try and feel like, hey, I don't want to have to worry about him every second he's out there. And with him, with fouls, you do. Steven, what were the odds of Wemby missing 2 free throws late in the game? Considering how he shoots free throws, I would say it was shocking. And he said he was tired. He admitted to being tired. He wasn't making an excuse. He said, "Listen, I went through the same routine I do on every play. I was as confident as I usually am. I just didn't make them." And it happens to the best of them. And was it surprising? Yes, very. I think Castle's ability to go to that foul line and make all those free throws with a young guard like that is extraordinary. Really is. There's so much pressure on those free throws. So much pressure. Listen, if you're part of that coaching staff, part of that hierarchy, or even one of their veteran players, and you are flying back to San Antonio last night, and you're replaying this game in your head, or maybe even watching it on, if you feel like it. The coach is watching it. I know that. I don't know if anybody else is. But the point is, that game has to eat you up because you can look at where you can do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Every one of them will make a difference in the game. But that's all in retrospect. When you have a 29-point lead, you go back and say, if we had just done this, if we had just done that, everything has to fall a certain way. And as Brown admitted to last night, when you dig a hole like that, you got to get lucky too. Al, I have nothing against Taylor Swift and I actually enjoy her music, but do we really need her sitting front row acting like a Knicks fan? Now, my understanding is, okay, that she, uh, was very close friends with one of the actresses who goes to a lot of the games, and that's why she went to the game. And Kelsey was with the Chiefs, so he wasn't available. So, but you know what? I don't know about you, but I personally don't get hung up on that stuff. Listen, in Madison Square Garden, stars are going to decorate the court. They want stars. They want a bigness to the event. They want to sell it as the world's greatest arena, the world's most famous arena. They want it to be as big as it can possibly be. Where, hey, it's not a star, it's, you know, A-list stars, A plus stars, A plus stars. Seinfeld, Larry David, blah, 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 Chalamet, etc., all the way down the list. And I don't care who's decorating the court. I really don't. It doesn't concern me. I expect all the Knick people to be there. They should be there. I expect the New York stars, the New York athletes who are in town, the big ones, to be there. Even the luminaries like a Jeter or a Eli, I have no problem with those guys being there. They're part of the New York sports landscape. And a lot of people, either know someone who has tickets or buy tickets. Who cares? I mean, I'm into the basketball. I don't care about that stuff. Last night was the first night I would have liked to be there in the second half of that game. Now, there's no leg room at these at the Garden, which is why I haven't gone to a game. And last night was the first time I missed it. But I want to do the post game anyway. But I'm only a couple of weeks out from knee replacement, and you can't sit in a cramped area yet. Like, I can't do that. So it wasn't possible. But I didn't really. The only time I really felt it was I thought, wow, being there last night in the fourth quarter would have been fun. That would have been fun. That would have been memorable. But it was still memorable watching it. It really was, without any question. And it just shows you how fleeting, how small the margin is in these games. I mean, you could go back and trace moments in every one of these games where the Knicks were up 3-1, could have lost all 4 of these games. Even game 1. And they run off, you know, a good number of points at the end of the game. But that game is anybody's game with 2 minutes to play. The Spurs have had a big lead in all 4 games, which is highly unusual. So it just shows you that it's unbelievable, and you don't need any more than Fox's decision has to be a terrible one. And then off a miss, OG makes a tip for the ages to get you your 3rd win in the series. Crazy. It's been an entertaining series. It really has. It's had a lot of crazy twists and turns. And who knows? Maybe we're not done with that. I was not surprised how the Spurs responded in game 3. I was very surprised by the lead they opened last night, I admit that. I don't know what to expect from them in game 5. They've been hit a couple of times here now. I don't know what to expect from them in game 5. I really don't. I expect the Knicks to be coming at them late, though, because that seems to be the way these games are every single time. So take a deep breath and enjoy. We'll see you later.